and is the least commercially successful film Bay has ever produced. While audiences rated 13 Hours more highly than critics, the film's attempt to capitalize on the politics of the Benghazi attacks largely failed. The documents released under the Freedom of Information Act reveal that Bay first approached the CIA in March 2015, weeks before production started. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Saying that he has no idea what to make of the mixed signals, area man Pete Summers told reporters today he keeps getting ambiguous text messages from local woman Haley Mueller, claiming that she's not at all interested in him.
One minute she's like, I don't want to go out with you. And then she'll mention how she has to go hang out with her boyfriend. I mean, what am I supposed to do with that?
Summers, who first met Mueller at a friend's party last month, informed reporters that the 27-year-old's increasingly perplexing text messages have left him unable to ascertain whether or not she would want to date him. He also noted that Mueller's behavior at social gatherings was equally vague.
Last weekend, we were at a party, and every time I would go up to her, she just said, "Leave me alone." Then I text her the next day, and she totally doesn't even respond. I mean, she just needs to make up her mind and tell me what she wants. She hasn't answered my last 3 phone calls, so maybe I should go over there and make sure everything's okay.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. It's the live Saturday edition of the program, and once again, it's another shooting, and this time at a Wal-Mart in Texas, a mass shooting that's the media here is saying is one of the worst in U.S. history. Apparently, at least 19 people are accounted as dead, at least 40 injured, as a gunman opened fire, according to NBCNews.com, in a Walmart and around a nearby shopping mall in El Paso, Texas. One suspect is in custody. His name is Patrick Crusius. He is 21 years old, from the Dallas area. I read that he was more specifically from Plano, Texas. And it's strange timing. We were just talking about some of the good news about Walmart maybe getting into the digital currency business last night, and now Walmart's in the news again in a much more unpleasant manner. With you here in the studio, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Our toll-free number, if you want to join us, it's 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I mean, these things happen.
This is the second mass shooting this week.
What was the other one?
The one in, was it Gilroy, California?
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, there was.
I don't pay close attention to the news.
At a festival.
Like a music festival or something like that?
I believe it's a garlic festival.
Oh, wow. Okay. Jeez. Now, do we know anything about that shooter? Was it another young male? Because this one apparently has a manifesto. I don't know what the
I
garlic
don't have a
shooter.
manifesto on it. I wasn't prepared for the questions you're asking. So
No, I was just curious if you heard, was there a manifesto in the garlic? I know nothing about it. So.
I don't pay attention to what these people write. I figure if you're crazy and stupid enough to walk into someplace, I don't want to read what the hell you wrote.
I actually
All
do
I want
want
to see for these people is a bullet in the face. That's it.
Well, he's in custody, apparently, so that's not going to be...
As far as I'm concerned, that's a waste of taxpayers' money.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Look... To me, what these people actually write is one of the more interesting aspects of this, because everything else is just so similar. Yeah. I mean, every time one of these things happen, we've been on the air with Free Talk Live since 2002. So, you know, we've been through a lot of these shootings on the radio. Obviously, we have not actually been through a shooting, thank goodness.
No, thank goodness.
But, you know, we've covered many of these, and it's like, okay... trot out the gun control people. They're going to say their gun control lines. And somebody posted one of these Democratic candidates. There's a link here in our Discord chat over at discord.lrn.fm where she says...
Marianne Williamson wants to not just take the guns, but she acknowledges taking the guns will leave millions of guns in the streets, hundreds of millions, mind you. And... but then we have to go after the bullets.
That's right. She says, quote, "We must outlaw all assault-style weapons for civilian use. Even then, there will still be millions of them on the street. We need to outlaw the manufacture and sale of the bullets that they carry." And so, trot out the gun controllers, trot out the conservatives, in
the case of Marianne Williamson, I mean, at the very least, we know she's going to summon a love storm to sweep up the guns. I mean, she's not going to send men with guns to go get the guns, because the government has the ability to strip guns from a large portion of the population. They can take them away from felons, the cops, and the military.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If they wanted to.
You're saying they could strip guns from their own agents. I got you, because I was going to say they've already stripped the right to bear arms from felons.
The largest purchaser of guns in America is America.
You mean the government?
It's the government,
right.
Yes. The United
It's not
States,
the same thing. America's not a government.
I don't care about the semantics of it all. It's the same to most people.
Well, we need to be clear. So I'm sorry you don't care, but I'm going to be clear about it. The United States federal government is not the same thing as America. America is a continent.
Fine.
More than one continent, actually.
Well, it's a couple of them.
Yeah.
But they have names in front of them. So
That's
North
right.
America isn't the same thing as America.
Correct.
So America is the United States, the way people look at it.
That's not correct, though.
All right, fine.
People can look at it how they want, but they need to be corrected. So anyway, going on. So trot out your gun controllers and have them say the typical gun control things, like this Marianne Williamson character. And then trot out the up in arms conservatives to say anti-gun control things and point out how bad of an idea gun control is. And we're not conservatives on Free Talk Live. We're liberty-minded folks. We're libertarians and voluntarists and people that care about freedom. And so, of course, we care about the right to bear arms. And we've pointed out all the typical points, the talking points about these things, where most of the time these mass shootings happen in gun-free zones. And you'd asked me off the air, Mark, was this a gun-free zone? And I'm going to tell you that unless there was something with the mall that this Wal-Mart was located nearby, Walmart's, from my understanding, are gun-friendly places typically.
It'd be difficult to be a gun-free zone and sell guns, which Walmart does.
Correct. There's never, I don't live in Texas, but I know that Texas tends to be a little more right-leaning than maybe some states, and
they've gotten better on gun freedom in the last decade or so. They weren't always the greatest, as much to the chagrin of Texans when you talk to them about it.
I've never seen a no-gun sign walking into any Walmart anywhere that I can recall. So this was not a gun-free zone, and unfortunately, if there were some gun-toting people in that store, they were unable to do anything about this shooter.
Well, I think one thing that sort of never gets mentioned in these circumstances that if you want to stop bullets, guns aren't great ways to do that. We have things that are designed for that, and that's called a bulletproof vest.
Sure. But nobody wants to walk around with a bulletproof vest on every day.
They've got some nice ones out there that look like jackets. I mean, it's summertime in Texas.
Yeah, they don't feel,
I can't imagine.
they're heavy.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody in Texas in summertime wants to wear a coat or jacket or whatever.
I mean, I suspect most people in cities like Chicago and Baltimore aren't walking around with bulletproof jackets on. Though there may be some. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think that it hasn't. There's no permeation. It's for one thing, is that when somebody talks about stopping a shooter, they talk about shooting the shooter. They don't talk about wearing something that's bulletproof.
Well, but but
the point that I'm trying to make on this is the government is constantly trying to limit people's rights to have bulletproof vests.
Sure. Yeah, there's not a lot of news about that, but I believe you.
No, it's the truth.
Is it the federal government or state government?
Both. Mm-hmm. They don't want what they don't want is for a shooter to acquire a bulletproof vest.
Okay.
And then be able to stop the rounds of bullets.
Right. I mean, a bulletproof vest is going to stop rounds that are aimed at your chest, but it won't stop them if they're aimed somewhere else.
No.
So a psychopath that's going on a shooting rampage needs to have violence that is countered against him. There needs to be counter violence. So bulletproof vest isn't necessarily going to do the job.
Well,
that's just going to maybe make it so you survive the shooting, but it will not contribute to whether other people survive the shooting or not. It will not contribute to whether or not that person walks out of that Walmart.
Sure.
And in this case, apparently he did.
Cops wear bulletproof vests.
Correct. But again, Mark, I don't think that many people want to wear bulletproof vests. Cops wear bulletproof vests because they have a higher likelihood of being shot. The average person walking through a Walmart probably isn't thinking about wearing a bulletproof vest. And I don't think that even after this shooting, they're likely going to consider it. Bulletproof vests are expensive as well.
Right. Your likelihood of being in a mass shooting is extraordinarily low. Your likelihood of being hot while wearing a bulletproof vest
very high.
is as high as wearing the bulletproof vest. So if you put it on, you're hot.
Right. I think I remember we've had bulletproof vest sponsors in the past, Mark, and so we have acquired things like this in the past. And I remember looking at the prices, and you'd be hard-pressed to find one less than a few $100. That might be a used one.
Sure. I would agree with that. Yeah. It's not cheap to have actual protection.
No doubt.
Right.
So, toll-free number, if you want to join us here, you're welcome to. Our number's 855-450-FREE. But it's just like every time this happens, okay, let's see, what are the statistics on this shooting that get the both sides saying the things that they always say. The gun controllers want to do gun control, and the people who are against it have really good reasons to be against it, and I'm with them. I'm in favor of your right to bear whatever kind of arms that you want to. And it's unfortunate that more of those arms bearers weren't present in this particular Walmart.
But the government grows,
this afternoon.
They're going to strip guns away. I mean,
you think so?
Think they're gonna... absolutely. If you keep on having shootings of this frequency, sure.
So apparently this guy is a Trump supporter, the person, or at least according to this manifesto.
Well, he's not being very helpful.
Which is allegedly his manifesto. Now, some are saying it may not have been written by him. But let's do a little bit more of this. I've got it pulled up here, and it is mercifully short for a manifesto. More coming up here. Free Talk Live on Saturday.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. GoDark bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkbags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkbags.com/FTL.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
Are you locked into a crappy schedule where you're forced to report to work or even to a relationship where you're not allowed to do the things you want to do? That sucks. Wouldn't you prefer to live a more free life? There's another way to live. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download the free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Are you making sense to the boomer mindset? I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. 80 million baby boomers comprise 25% of the population and control most of the USA's wealth. As aging parents pass on, they'll control more. Boomers are 46 to 65 years old and regard themselves as midlife. They identify as neither young nor old. They're post-minivan and pre-retirement, and they don't like being called boomers. They think me. Many of the purchases boomer couples make are individual purposes. They've been experimenters all their lives. If you want their attention, tell stories and keep it simple. If something seems complicated, boomers can dismiss it as, I don't need this. And if you're looking for work, you may be applying to a boomer, so relate accordingly. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Thanks to Penis Jim in our chat room on discord.lrn.fm. He has shared the alleged...
Why, Internet? Why?
He has shared the alleged manifesto from this shooter that apparently has slaughtered over at least 19 people and injured another 40 more in a Wal-Mart in Texas earlier today. We have the... like I said, mercifully short manifesto. The one from the shooter in New Zealand was very lengthy. This one is 4 pages long. It does reference the New Zealand shooter, and also he appears to be, the shooter does appear to be quite a racist individual. He is not a fan of Mexican immigrants. We can get into the ugly details of that coming up here. Our toll-free number, if you want to join us, live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE like freedom. We have also the Discord call-in line rooms at discord.lrn.fm.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently as far as pricing goes, and it's historically known to be one of the most secure investments in the world. McIlvaney ICA has a free report that you can download if you'd like to learn more about investing in precious metals. The report is the 6 advantages of adding precious metals to an IRA and how you can double your ounces. Get it online at icagoldsilver.com. McIlvaney ICA is also offering a free portfolio review. You just call them up and talk to them about how much gold you think you should have in your portfolio, what's right for you. They're America's foremost precious metals advisors and have been since 1972. ICA pioneered and practices leading strategies for compounding ounces. They've been helping people take delivery of precious metals with both domestic and international fine storage options for decades. They also have helped thousands of investors with precious metals IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at icagoldsilver.com. 800-525-9556, icagoldsilver.com.
So we're going to get into more about this El Paso, Texas shooter shooting in a Walmart and around a nearby shopping mall earlier today, apparently. The alleged shooter, Patrick Cruzius, age 21, from the Dallas area, is apparently in police custody. In his manifesto, he says he does not intend to be taken into custody and that he will continue to fight all the way until whatever bitter end there was.
I think we know how the bitter end goes every single time.
What do you mean?
When does the shooter get away? When does the person walk into the public area, shoot the place up, and live or not go to prison?
He's alive right now. Oh, well, he's probably going to prison, but he is alive.
He is alive, going to prison. There are 2 bitter ends. for him. And in Texas, it likely could still be the same bitter end.
We go to your calls, your thoughts, and we'll start first here with with Clint in Kentucky, listening to WKCT. Hello, Clint.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, Clint, you're on the air.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, when these things happen, they're awful. There's never anything good that can be said about them. And I know the gun control debate is going to come back up, as it always does.
Yep.
I just don't see how they think taking away firearms, whatever you want to call them, they are tools of protection for legal-abiding citizens who obey the rules every day. And I just think no matter what, evil's going to find a way.
But,
so don't harm the people that shouldn't be penalized in the first place.
I don't disagree with you, but I think that evil does find a way, and that evil will find a way to disarm Americans. At this point, you have the United States has far and away more freedom to own weapons than any other country from a legal standpoint. I mean, there may be places where everybody has guns, but it's illegal for them to have guns. I don't know. I haven't been there. I haven't hung out in I don't know, the compound of the FARC or whatever. But I can say that the United States far and away has more freedom than any other country to own guns. And you're going to see those freedoms be stripped by people, well-meaning people, who are going to use these circumstances every single time. And getting 2 in 1 week, that's going to make it's going to be exhausting for those that wish to vigilantly protect that freedom.
Well, that's true. I mean, I wish the powers that be would actually come together instead of just saying, we deserve guns, and the other side saying, no, you don't. Let's all sit down and figure out a real solution, as besides just, well, let's take it away so they go back to using explosives or something. You know, it's just,
right.
You're not going to find hurting all the law-abiding citizens.
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say.
Where there is the will to destroy, anybody who wants to put the time and effort into it is going to be able to destroy much easier than someone who wants to build or create. As far as people sitting down and hashing this out, that's just pure fantasy. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong for wanting that to happen, but these sides are so divided on this issue. The best thing that we could possibly see happen here, if you want to see some sort of change, is to end the federal government entirely and allow each state government to make its own decisions about how restrictive or how permissive they would like to be on the issue of self-defense and the ownership of weapons. Because having the federal government try to make it so everybody can be happy about this is never going to happen. We need to have 50 different sort of laboratories, if you will.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think the people in Boston are ever going to agree with the people in Santa Fe on how this is going to go.
Or in New Hampshire. I mean, the people in Boston and Massachusetts are totally different. Hey, thanks, Clint, for your call tonight, man. I appreciate your thoughts.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Yeah, despite having a constitution that says regarding the ownership of weapons shall not be infringed, it has infringed over and over and over again.
Right.
Its Supreme Court basically says it's our job to infringe, even though the Bill of Rights says this. The United States was founded by people who were unwilling to accept the Constitution without the Bill of Rights. They said, no thank you to this document. They had the Articles of Confederation at that point, and the answer was no, we will not accept it. The Bill of Rights was trotted in, the second of which says shall not be infringed regarding the ownership of firearms, and then it gets voted on and that sort of thing. Granted, they had to threaten to blockade Rhode Island to get it done, but nonetheless, that's how they got it done, by putting in these rights. And then this court of 9 that claims to rule us. It's really 5, because only 5 of them have to agree at any given time.
Right.
These 5 people that claim to rule us have steadily walked back, not steadily, in fits and starts, walked back our gun freedoms. So expect more of it, ladies and gentlemen.
And your other freedoms.
Right. When you put your hand over your heart and pledge to the flag, remember This is part of that whole thing.
All right, so we got more on the way here. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. There's an open line for you if you dial in now at 855-450, free like freedom. If you're having trouble getting in on the phone lines, join us on our Discord server. Those are the Discord lines are wide open right now, and you'll sound way better. I'm more likely to take a call that's on Discord because it sounds better. Go to discord.lrn.fm. But we'll get all of you on here. And your calls and thoughts are welcome. You can bring up whatever you want as well. This is Free Talk Live. More about the shooting coming up.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Free Talk Live.
I was in the military for 31 years, and I hear all this talk about the draft and defending freedom and all that. From my perspective, as I'm ex-Navy, I never defended anybody's freedom, American or anybody else's. I was a hired thug for the U.S. government. It's just propaganda put out by the government, and it's we're the best and the brightest, and all of that just makes me ill because of all the millions of people that have died because the American military is all over the world. There's nobody attacking us. I mean, our government is like every other government. It's run by degenerate psychopaths that are power mad, and I have no clue what goes on inside their mind, but it's nothing good.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealestate.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk live Saturday show. Toll-free number for you to join us. It's 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. Head over to local.bitcoin.com and you can buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods, including some that are a little higher risk, like PayPal or Venmo. Also, lower risk ones like bank deposits or remittances, or even meeting up in person with cash. You can do it in a bunch of different ways over at local.bitcoin.com. And most importantly, there's no ID requirements in order to sign up for the site. Just go to local.bitcoin.com and get started there. It's finally a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Plus, all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. So go to local.bitcoin.com. As we continue, Ian and Mark here in the studio live on Saturday talking about this latest shooting. And Mark, you said there was apparently another one earlier this week at a garlic festival.
In California, yeah.
This one's in Texas, where purportedly they have a right to bear arms. And it was not at a gun-free zone this time. It was at a Wal-Mart and around apparently a nearby shopping mall. If you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here. Let's go to Tom. He's calling from Thomasville, listening to WVFT-FM in Tallahassee. Go ahead, Tom.
Yes, sir. Love your program, and you've given everyone the right to have their say. But I agree with the previous caller that they're going to come down hard on law-abiding citizens like they always do.
Yep. But
I lived in Arizona for a small period of time, and I branched at, I've done business with a bank because they had branches at a large chain supermarket, and it felt pretty good standing in line with people having firearms, and women also strapped on their hips.
Just to be clear, you're standing in line at a bank with people who have guns on their hips.
Yes, sir.
I got to say, I love that. I've done that here in New Hampshire as well, where I have actually been the person walking into a bank with an openly carried gun. And here, they're going to look at you, but it's legal, and as long as the bank doesn't have a policy against it, it's fine to be in there with it.
Yes. Like I say, that's one reason I banked with that particular bank, because they had branches that were easy to access at the supermarkets.
Yep.
But it felt pretty good standing in line.
Yeah. To know that people are there who can help out if necessary. Thank you, Tom, for your call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I've only ever been told in this area, at least, I mean, there aren't a whole lot of banks around here, but I've only been told by one bank that firearms are not welcome. That was Citizens Bank.
Well, there you go. I don't think that one can mention it enough. The concealed carry permit holders are the safest group of people from a statistical standpoint as far as gun crime goes.
More so than the police themselves.
More so, like by a factor, than the police themselves. And that, the idea of going and making it more difficult for concealed carry permit holders to be concealed carry permit holders, well, I think it flies in the face of what we can see as evidence out there. But there was a, CDC, that's the Center for Disease Control, report back in the 90s that showed that handguns are used more than 1 million times per year to prevent crime.
Yes, that's right.
And we almost never hear a story about that. So, of course, you're going to hear the story about the mass shooting that occurred. Right. You're not going to hear the story of the robbery that didn't occur because somebody flashed a firearm.
Yeah, that's not going to make the news at 11.
But 1 million times is worth noting. Sure. More than 1 million times.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk to Sarah listening in Oregon. Sarah, what town are you in Oregon there?
It's Klamath Falls.
Welcome. You're on Free Talk Live.
Kind of in the valley. Now, I know this may seem kind of far out, but, we may have to involve the mental health and have neighborhood watches, where some person is in contact with some. I hope we have people that are really interested in solving the problem and checking on our neighbors. I think we failed somewhere as Christians. These people, they desperately needed some help. But if you don't even know and you can't recognize it. But I just wanted to say, I just think, and also it may be that you can't go out unless you have someone who has a gun with you. You may get to a point. I just wanted to mention those two things. I just wish we could solve it. I just hate. It's an evil thing.
It sure is. And mental health is clearly playing some kind of role. I'm certainly no expert in it.
I don't know about that. I mean, obviously you have to be crazy to want to shoot somebody. There's no doubt about that.
Okay.
But I've got this guy's manifesto here, and what's going into this is hatred for other people. That's where this is coming from, and that is, of course, going to lead somebody to some very unhealthy mental states. But this person has been reading, having skimmed through this. I haven't read through the full 4 pages, but this person has been inculcating themselves with white nationalist, hate-filled propaganda, and he has turned his hatred towards Hispanics very specifically. But this hatred has manifested in violence, and there's no reason for it. A lot of it's full of, a lot of this information about immigrants are just straight up lies. It's misinformation. It's fear-based, and it's utilized by the people in power to help divide us. The people in power, the people in the government goons, they want you to hate each other. They want Group A to hate Group B to hate Group C, because as long as you're fighting with each other, you'll never really realize that the problem is over there. And over there, I mean in D.C. or your local state capital. Sarah, thanks for calling to share your thoughts tonight. I appreciate it. Yep, go ahead.
Maybe the leader and they could do something. The leader could find out in the neighborhood.
Which leader?
Are you still there?
Yeah, we're right here.
The leaders that you choose in your neighborhood watch. The one they might be able. They could maybe determine this, but we do have a lot more people in our country now. That
you mean the neighborhood watch might be able to ferret out a troubled young person that's in the neighborhood? Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Could be.
Yes, or all the people involved. I don't know how else you're going to solve this. I can't. I just I know we're not connected like we used to be. Caring for others. Christian nation.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I think people are pretty good about caring for others still.
There have been a lot of mass shootings throughout U.S. history, too. But I don't think that it's a bad idea. We have new great communication tools, and we should employ them.
Thanks, Sarah, for your call tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And as I said, I do have his what is alleged to be his 4-page manifesto, and we can share some of that with you coming up. But first, let's talk to Larry. He's in Indianapolis. Hello, Larry. You're on Free Talk Live.
How you doing, Mark and Ann?
Hey, Larry.
Hey, you talk about the young teenagers and stuff shooting up schools and shooting up shopping centers.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're going to do. Remember, we have these schools now that are nothing but junkie factories. Even preschoolers, they get them into a room and they have somebody in there with a laptop monitoring their behavior, seeing what kind of dope they can sell. So if we bring it on ourselves. But anyway, on a lighter
So wait a
note,
minute, just to clarify here, you are targeting the blame against the various medications that are being prescribed to young people.
Junkie factory.
That is definitely something, and I'll ask you to hang on, Larry. We'll bring you back for because I know you're calling about something else. But there's definitely another talking point that tends to get trotted out when these shootings happen is somebody always asks the question, was the shooter on, some kind of psychotropic, mind-melding.
Serotonin uptake inhibitors or whatever the hell.
Yeah. And a lot of them have been.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, almost to a T.
A lot of crazy people are put on those, too. So that makes it difficult.
Yeah, that's true. We get more on the way here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. He's got his, what I would say, well-organized manifesto, one of the most succinct that we've seen over the years, and we've seen a few of these things. There's more coming up. We'll share it with you. It's crazy and wrong, but at least it's an easy read. It's Free Talk Live. More coming up.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state, until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to blackriflerealestate.com. That's blackriflerealestate.com.
Hello?
Congratulations.
For what?
For losing all that weight. How'd you do it so fast?
ASAP.
ASAP what? What's that mean?
Are you ready to get as skinny as possible, as soon as possible, as simple as possible, and as sexy as possible?
I'm listening.
Then get with the ASAP program. It's real and it works. No smooth talk, no slick advertising, and no exaggerated claims of success.
I've got to know more.
Welcome to ASAP, as slim as possible. Whether you have 10, 20, or 50 pounds to lose, ASAP is your weight loss answer. ASAP targets the abnormal fat reserves and makes them available to be burned as fuel and contains no caffeine or hormones. Order ASAP at wholesale prices or join the team to share the business with others. Go to GCNteam.com or call 855-GCN-MALL. That's 855-426-6255. GCNteam.com or 855-426-6255. Lose weight and look great with ASAP, as slim as possible.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, join us here if you want to talk about whatever's on your mind, although we are focusing tonight so far on this mass shooting, the latest one, this one taking place in Texas in an unusual location rather than inside a gun-free zone like a school, for instance, where they tend to happen. This one happened in a Texas Wal-Mart and in the surrounding, I guess, parking lot of the mall, apparently, with at least 19 people now dead and 40 allegedly injured in this shooting. The lunatic, in this case, has been captured.
One wonders how you get into a Walmart with an AK-47 in your hand.
From the video footage, I mean, I haven't seen the video, but I did see a still frame. It did show him by the front door with the gun in his hand. So It looks like
Maybe
he
you just
just
don't have to
walked
get very
in, Mark.
far. Yeah.
What did you expect him to do?
I would expect somebody to shoot you in the parking lot, honestly, but
Well, if there, like I said before, if there was somebody with a gun inside this Walmart besides the shooter, we haven't heard anything about that person yet, because allegedly the police were the ones that took him into custody.
And it's important to point out that you're outgunned. If you have your Glock mini Glock that you're carrying as a concealed,
you may be outgunned. However, as long as the person doesn't have the drop on you, you may have an opportunity. Okay,
you may,
because you know where the guy is. He's shooting.
Yep.
He doesn't necessarily know where you are if he hasn't seen you yet.
Right.
So as long as you don't
he's deaf too.
Oh, you better believe it, right? Yeah.
If he's shooting an AK-47 indoors, and I mean, he's right there where that explosion goes off every single time. He's either wearing ear protection and can't hear,
right,
or he's not wearing ear protection
deaf
and can't hear.
Yeah. Let's go to your calls. Your thoughts are welcome. And I do have his manifesto pulled up here, so we'll get into some of that. But first, let's go back to Larry in Indianapolis. Larry, you'd called. I don't know if you were calling to talk specifically about this, but you did have some comments.
About that, but
go ahead.
It's sickening, But I watched Elijah Cummings and Al Sharpton last week when Trump was exposing them. I hope he exposes them good. And Al Sharpton really needs to shut his mouth and get on back somewhere. You know what they got of him now? They're laughing about the balloon they got of Trump, right?
Uh-huh.
You know about that,
the big baby balloon.
Now they got a Al Sharpton balloon, naked, showing all his sagging skin and everything. He used to weigh almost 400 pounds, right?
He used to be a large man.
Lost all that weight, but somebody have made a balloon, one of them blunt balloons of him, showing everything.
So wait, there's an Al Sharpton blimp style. How big is this? Have you seen this thing, Mark?
I'm going to see it in a second.
It's on there. You'll get it. It's a Trump balloon. It's a Sharpton balloon of him. It is. How he looks crazy looking. It shows him with all that fat skin and
that
stuff.
Sounds awful.
And all shriveled up and everything. It's so funny.
I'm glad I haven't eaten yet. Thanks, Larry. I appreciate the call. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE.
I definitely found the Trump balloon.
Yeah.
Several versions of the Trump balloon.
No Sharpton balloon?
I have not seen it, no.
All right. Well, maybe somebody will put it in our chat room over at discord.lrn.fm. We'll continue with Dennis in South Carolina, listening to WRNN. Hello?
Hold on a second.
Yes, it's time, Dennis. Time for being on the radio. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm a proud carrier of a concealed weapon permit in South Carolina. And a lot of the states, it's almost impossible to get one. And our Constitution says we ought to be able to just bear arms and carry them in plain sight.
Sure.
But it's less than 1% of the population, less than 1% that have concealed weapons permits. So these people know when they go in a place that chances are that they're not going to run across somebody with a gun.
Now, is that a nationwide statistic, the 1%?
Yeah, if you look it up, it's less than 1%.
Huh.
In some states, it's impossible, almost impossible. New York,
right.
New Jersey, you can't even get a concealed weapon.
And both of those are large population states. They're in the top 10.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's a state law, so like I can't take my gun. There's about 12 states where I can't take my gun and I can't carry my gun concealed because they don't have a reciprocal agreement. But our Constitution says we ought to be able to carry it in plain sight.
Absolutely. One of those, by the way, those two states, Massachusetts and New York, are on that list. And it's really difficult to get to New Hampshire without traveling through one of those two states, if not both of them.
Well, the good news is, before you go on, Dennis, I do want to say this. I just did a quick search here, and I found a story from the Daily Signal at dailysignal.com listing the states with the most concealed carry permits. Now, they're not showing per capita. They're just showing raw numbers. So that's not quite what I was looking for, but it's something. Florida allegedly has 1.8 million, and they only have 21. And they have 21 million people in population there. So that's much lower, more than that's almost 10%. In Florida. I suspect New Hampshire is going to be about on that level, but it doesn't make into the top 10 because we only have 1.4 million population. So 10% of New Hampshire would be 140,000.
But you would think Texas would be pretty high on that list.
I think I was kind of quoting overall in the United States.
Yeah. But I think it's important to make sure it's clear. You don't want to factor in states like California and New York into those percentages because it's not it doesn't give a true picture of what it's like in the different states. So I think it's important to get that out there.
Exactly. But
Dennis, thanks
the thing that irritates me is, like you pointed out so clearly, is you and Ian, Mark and Ian,
yes, sir,
both of you pointed out that we should be able just to have it open carry like you did when you went to those banks.
Yeah. Now, do you have that in South Carolina? Is open carry legal?
No.
Oh, too bad.
Open carry is not legal. You got to have it concealed.
Ooh.
Yeah, I must say, I feel much better when I see somebody with a pistol on their hip. I have never seen anybody walking around with a long gun like slung over their shoulders.
Except at like the Porcupine Freedom Festival.
And yeah, I've seen that there. And I would think that, like, for instance, if you're wandering into a Wal-Mart with a long gun, like that would be a strange thing. I wouldn't necessarily. I guess at some point or another, I'm like, well, that seems impractical. The idea of just strapping on a long gun and walking into Walmart.
Also, if you were that guy that had a long gun hanging on your shoulder and you looked around and you saw these open carries around you, I don't think you'd be opening up on anybody.
Yeah, you'd give it a second thought.
I think it'd be a safer country if everybody open carried. And one of the things that I find so odd is that there's, like, handguns equalize so much violence in the world. The people who are most at danger of this violence, or at least feel the most danger of the violence, little women, for some reason don't avail themselves of this very empowering item. It seems to be by and large men that carry handguns, and I'll never understand.
Well, I don't know about that.
I guarantee you, if 40%, even 30% of the women got concealed weapons permit, people knew it, there'd be a lot less.
Are there statistics about that, though, Mark, or are you just going based on your observation? Like, have you actually looked at the statistics of, what's the breakdown of male versus female?
Women. No, but it's a much smaller percentage than it is men. I've in my class that I went to, there was 15 people in there, and there's 2 women.
Okay. Fair enough. Dennis, thanks for sharing your thoughts tonight. I really appreciate hearing from you. By the way, Mark, I did pull up the lengthy study here that they pulled some of these statistics from of how many people per state have concealed permits. Data from New Hampshire was not available.
They don't write it down. That's how I think is best. But from doing the standpoint of doing our job, it makes it harder. But from the standpoint of gun freedom, I would prefer to see that. I'd prefer the state simply not collect data on the ownership of that particular tool.
Well, I mean, they definitely have permit data. Why it's not available, I'm not sure. And the other thing to remember is that even though New Hampshire is now what they call a constitutional carry state. It had been in the past, and it had lost that status for some amount of time, and they got it back in 2017. So now you don't even need a concealed carry permit to concealed carry in New Hampshire. So open carry was legal throughout. So even when the concealed carry permit was required for concealed carry, you could still open carry without a permit. And now you don't even need a permit to conceal carry. If you want the permit, it's available. It's, shall issue, as they call it, and it's like a $10 fee for however many years you get, and it's reciprocal with some states, but not certainly not all of them. We got more coming up here. If you want to join us, whether it's gun control, gun rights, your right to bear arms, your right to defend yourself with whatever arms, with whatever device, you're welcome to join us. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. Plus, I do have the 4-page long manifesto that we can share some to get some sort of a clue what this lunatic, the shooter, was thinking down there in Texas. And it is steeped in hatred for immigrants. I will tell you that. There's more coming up here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. This is Free Talk Live. Hour 2's next.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL. I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,439, silver at $16.31, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,388. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, physicians from 2 top universities are calling on Congress to promptly investigate the deaths of 6 migrant children in the government's custody, warning that the widely reported poor conditions in detention centers could be putting thousands of children at risk for infectious diseases. The Mind Unleashed reports that 3 of the 6 children who died while in U.S. custody since last September died partially because they had contracted influenza. 2 died after spending twice the amount of time in a Border Patrol station than the Department of Homeland Security typically allows. About 2,000 migrant children are in U.S. custody on any given day, many after a grueling journey from Central America and elsewhere. The children are in Border Patrol stations, where many have been kept for far longer than the facilities are equipped to house people. Detention centers run by ICE and the Health and Human Services Department, and facilities run by for-profit government contractors like CoreCivic. The doctors urge lawmakers to probe how the widely reported unsanitary conditions in the centers contributed to the deaths that have been recorded. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A new report from Georgetown Law's Center on Privacy and Technology suggests that immigration and customs enforcement may be using illegal immigration as a type of cover to track and spy on Americans in violation of their Fourth Amendment rights. Activist Post reports that 3 years ago, the center revealed that nearly half of all U.S. adults are already in the FBI's facial recognition database, which is largely sourced from DMV photos. ICE has apparently requested special access to Department of Motor Vehicles databases in at least 3 states, Utah, Washington State, and Vermont, which the federal agency plans to use in conjunction with facial recognition technology to scan people's driver's license photos and match them against criminal and residency databases, all without their knowledge or consent. The documents uncovered this week are the first confirmation that states have granted ICE specifically, not just the FBI, access to those databases. The CIA has released a batch of documents detailing how their Office of Public Affairs staff met with film director Michael Bay and successfully leaned on him to make changes to the script to his film 13 Hours. The Mind Unleashed reports that the 2016 action thriller is the only major movie Hollywood has produced about the attacks on the United States Special Mission in Benghazi and the nearby CIA annex. It grossed less than $70 million against a $50 million budget and is the least commercially successful film Bay has ever produced. While audiences rated 13 Hours more highly than critics, the film's attempt to capitalize on the politics of the Benghazi attacks largely failed. The documents released under the Freedom of Information Act reveal that Bay first approached the CIA in March 2015, weeks before production started. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
After years of weekly meetings with his psychologist, local man Chris Vaughn told reporters today he was excited to only have 2 sessions left before completely resolving all of his emotional issues and never having the need to return to another therapy session again.
When I started therapy, I knew if I could make it through exactly 120 50-minute sessions with Dr. Warner, then all of my issues with depression and crippling anxiety would be gone. Next week we're covering my parents. The week after that we're wrapping up my trust issues, and then I should be good to go.
According to Vaughn, it took 40 sessions alone to fully resolve his feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem resulting from an unhappy childhood. Vaughn's therapist, Dr. Susan Warner, told Onion reporters that she's pleased with her patient's progress and relieved that his long-time emotional and cognitive issues are nearly solved for good.
I told him that getting healthy would take at least 100 hours of therapy, and now he'll never have to see me again. Thank God for that. That guy was a real piece of work.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, the live Saturday edition of the show where we invite you, as always, to call in, talk about whatever you want. Of course, we started the show out by discussing the Wal-Mart shooting. There's been a mass shooting with at least 19 people now apparently confirmed dead, 40 more injured down at a Walmart in the El Paso, Texas area. The alleged shooter, Patrick Crucius, age 21, is from the Dallas area, and he has been taken into custody, apparently. There's a photograph of him sitting in the back of a police cruiser. He also left, allegedly, a manifesto, and I do have a copy of that alleged manifesto here, which we can share with you coming up here in a moment. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Let's go to the phones first. Your calls and thoughts are certainly welcome. You can take control of the airwaves, but so far almost everybody's wanted to talk about the shooting. David is on the line in Kansas, listening in Salina to KINA. Hello, David.
Well, hello. How are we doing this evening?
Super. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, you know, this kind of stuff where we have these psychopaths running around and no one seems to be taking their own personal security into account, it seems like. I live in a state where not only do we have a concealed carry permits process, but we are also a constitutional carry state.
Oh, right on.
And we are also an open carry state.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we've maintained the concealed carry permitting process is so that we have reciprocity with 33 other states.
Right.
Yep.
And, you know, I'm a big constitutional carry fan, but I also did pay the state for my right, the theft of my right to carry concealed, but that's because I visit many other states. And, that's a whole different, another conversation, I think, but one that kind of fits in with this. But here in the state of Kansas, you will see all kinds of people open carry at my Wal-Mart.
Mm-hmm. I believe
and
it.
let me tell you, we're watching them like a hawk. And
Especially
they know
now.
it.
Yeah, I think people do know it when they open carry.
That's right. We watch them like a hawk. I work private security, armed private security company. We have a contract with our hospital here, and we do armed security for our hospital. And you'll never make it in the front door with a weapon. Never. And if I was at Walmart and I saw some guy walking in with a long gun, I'm putting him on the ground, regardless of whether he goes willingly or not, because they're there for no good.
What if
he was going to return it?
What if they're there to return like a shotgun? I mean, I've really, honestly, this is an honest question. I've never bought a shotgun from Walmart. I don't know what happens if your shotgun from Walmart isn't all that you'd hoped it to be. What happens when you attempt to return it? Do you just have to bring it in the long case? I mean, what exactly what?
That'd probably help.
It's a good idea.
And I guess maybe I should quantify my answer there is that if I see someone shouldering a long gun walking into Walmart that's not in a case, that's rocked, loaded, ready to go, I'm putting them on the ground.
I think that's probably a good idea.
David,
with all the training that I've had, that's what you do. You look for things like that. And if someone's walking into one, they're not getting anywhere near it. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen.
I appreciate the call tonight, David. Anything else you want to share?
No, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
There you go. Thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. I do have the numbers, by the way, from that concealed carry government, I think it's a Government Accountability Office study. Anyway, looking at concealed carry permits in different states and the percentage of population. Now, they did look at adult population, so only looking at age 20 or over, not factoring, because when I did the rough math on Florida, I was looking at just the total population of the state. Doesn't make sense to look at that.
Makes sense. You're right.
Look at the adult population.
Doesn't matter how many preschoolers get to carry guns. It's always a bad idea.
So according to this, now it's not fair to give a number for a state like Kansas, because as he pointed out, there's concealed carry without a permit there. So there may be a significant portion of the population of gun owners who have decided they don't want to get the government permission slip, that they don't care about the reciprocation of the other states, and they just want to carry a gun without asking for permission. But according to this, as of now, their numbers are a little dated. This is as of 2011. The numbers of concealed carry permit holders in Kansas, 39,000 out of an approximate adult population of 2-ish million. So it's about 1.9%, they say there. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. But as he pointed out, you see them everywhere. And that's something you're not going to see in California, where they only have 0.1% of the population that has a concealed carry permit in California.
They have a large percentage of the population, and those people just don't enjoy that particular right. They almost have the right to smoke marijuana with impunity, though.
That's true. I think you can get both marijuana and guns in Nevada, though. So why go to California?
It's true.
Yeah. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. All right, so here is the manifesto. And we'll just get into some of this, Mark.
I want to hear it.
It's titled The Inconvenient Truth. First section, About Me.
Okay.
And this was, again, allegedly written by the purported shooter today, Patrick Crusius, age 21, from the Dallas area. But it hasn't been confirmed. It's just ostensibly was posted by him to some sort of social media. He says, in general, I support the Christchurch shooter and his manifesto.
Oh, swell.
Which was super long and super crazy, of course. This is, he says, this attack is a response to the Hispanic invasion of Texas. They are the instigators, he says.
Wasn't Texas part of Mexico? Go ahead.
He says, they are the instigators, not me. I am simply defending my country from cultural and ethnic replacement brought on by an invasion. Some people will think this statement is hypocritical because of the nearly complete ethnic and cultural destruction brought to the Native Americans by our European ancestors, but this just reinforces my point. The natives didn't take the invasion of Europeans seriously.
They did. They just they happened to have basically.
They didn't have guns.
Well, biology wasn't working towards for them, more or less. There's different takes on it, but somewhere between 4 and 5 and 9 out of 10 Native Americans died from Western introduced diseases.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to use the term biological warfare because it wasn't
purposeful.
Yeah,
right?
It wasn't purposeful, but that's what happened. It's not the Europeans' fault.
Well, the Europeans also had guns, and they didn't have those either.
Sure, there were technological differences, big ones.
Actually, he says,
but watch your population get decimated, and it's not even the right term, but knocked down to that large percentage, and then attempt to fight back. Tecumseh never had a chance.
Wouldn't decimated be the correct term? Decimated bringing your population down to 1/10, basically?
No, decimated means taking your population down by 1/10.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's leaving 90%. They wish they had only been decimated. They might have had a shot.
Thanks for clarifying that. My motives, he says, are not at all personal.
It's not personal.
Actually, the Hispanic community was not my target, he claims, before he says he read The Great Replacement. Now, what is The Great Replacement? I did not know. So I went to go look, and it was sort of what I expected that it would be. It sounds like something that Chris Cantwell would recommend. Sounds like something that you'd hear in these right-wing, white nationalist
That's the crying
communities.
Nazi.
Chris Cantwell, former Free Talk Live host who we fired for ending up becoming a racist. This guy may have been, one of his listeners. The Great Replacement is also known as replacement theory, is a white nationalist right-wing conspiracy theory. This is according to Wikipedia, which states that with the complicity of, quote, replacist elites, the white French population, as well as the white European population in Europe at large, is being progressively replaced with non-European people, specifically Arab, Berber, and sub-Saharan African Muslim populations from Africa and the Middle East. Obviously, he believes it's, Mexicans in the U.S.
Yeah, I think it's worth pointing out that Europe certainly has some issues going on with immigration. Those issues are, by and large, created by and propagated and perpetuated by their welfare state. And that's the same is true here in the United States. If some large percentage of people are coming here as refugees because there's a check involved.
We got more from the psycho who went on a shooting rampage today, is currently in police custody, the alleged Manifesto. We'll share that. You can share your comments. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want here if you would like. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
855-450-3733. That's the toll-free line. We also have our Discord on-air call-in line rooms. You can go to discord.lrn.fm. There's been some conversation there tonight in the On Air Now room about the shooting, of course, which is what we've been discussing most of the time here on Free Talk Live. But the call-in lines are there at the top of our Discord server, which, if you don't know, Discord is a free chat application. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's people in there almost around the clock, it seems
popular with the kiddos.
Kiddos?
Yes.
You mean Discord in general is?
Yes.
Because I was going to say, most of our listenership are not children.
No.
They're not kiddos in the LRN.FM Discord server. But what you're referencing is that Discord was originally created as a gaming, real-time voice chat app, basically. Right. And it has
you
become
can let the noobs know that they've been pwned properly.
That's right. Trash talking and all that. But it's actually become a very, very popular service outside of the gaming community. There's a lot of cryptocurrency communities that have their own Discords, and it's a very big thing. A lot of businesses using Discord for letting their employees chat. But anyway, it's a free app. You can go and download it. Go check it out at discord.lrn.fm. Let's go to your calls and thoughts here, and then we got more from the alleged manifesto of the purported shooter from this earlier today in El Paso, Texas at a Wal-Mart. Go ahead, David in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, that's Pew Pew, Mexico. Mark has half of the West laughing. Well, what did you say about Santa Fe and Boston?
Yeah, there's nothing like it.
Pardon?
They're not very similar. Santa Fe and Boston, right? And isn't that what I said?
Yeah, well, yeah. The problem is they're very similar. In fact, Santa Fe is way more left, way more liberal, way more commie than Boston.
I see.
By far.
I believe it. That's what I've always heard about Santa Fe.
Right.
Thanks for the clarification, David. Go ahead. Anything else?
Yeah. There's more. Oh, and first of all, did I ever tell you that I had a one-on-one conversation with Sam Walton once?
Sam Walton, Sam Walton, like one-on-one in person? You were in front of him in real life?
One-on-one in person, shaking hands, private, one-on-one, face-to-face conversation for about 10 minutes. Yeah.
Why? What was the occasion?
He just happened to fly into the same airport I flew into. Meaning he flew his airplane into the same airport I flew my airplane into, and it was a tiny little airport in southern Minnesota where he had just opened a new Wal-Mart store. And I ran into him.
How did you know it was him? I mean, was it Walmart branded on the airplane, or did you just happen to know what he looked like?
Well, we knew that he was coming in because some people from the store had come to pick him up. They were waiting for him to land.
So there was like people in Walmart uniforms out in the tarmac or whatever.
There was no tarmac. It's a tiny little airport, meaning like that we were like the only 6-7 people at the whole airport. There was nobody else. It was just Sam Walton, his wife, his brother, and his brother's wife, and then me and this other pilot, and that was it. There were 6 of us at the whole airport.
Well, if you got 10 minutes with Sam Walton, what do you say to him?
The main thing I said to him was congratulations from starting with one store and building it into, I don't know how many stores he had at the time, but he happened to be he was the richest man in the nation at the time that I talked to him.
Definitely deserves congratulations.
So I told him congratulations, and we just had small talk because I figured that's what he'd be interested in anyway. He's a real casual guy. I mean, he had millions, and he bought the minimum airplane for himself that would do the job instead of buying the airplane that he could have, and he drove an old pickup around. And
so he's still kind of, even though he'd been incredibly successful, he was still down to earth. David, thanks for sharing the story tonight. The toll-free number, I like those stories, where people don't let the success go to their head.
I think that it's certainly people. It builds a strong narrative. I can see at the same time why somebody would want to enjoy the fruits of their labor, but if they want to continue to drive an old pickup truck, then feel free.
We continue. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. Back to what he titled The Inconvenient Truth. This is the manifesto allegedly written by Patrick Crusius, the ostensible shooter today at the Wal-Mart down in Texas. They may have arrested some other folks, but so far the official word is that he was acting alone. And I imagine there's going to be plenty of video footage.
What are the arrests about?
That'll make that clear. The manifesto will cover the political. Well, to answer your question, Mark, the police are likely to arrest more people than is absolutely necessary, and then let go the people that are not actually involved in it. That tends to be how things are done. They didn't know initially that it was just one person.
Okay,
they probably had to review camera footage and things like that to figure that out. The manifesto, he writes, he says, this is his About Me section, he says, we'll cover the political and economic reasons behind the attack, my gear, my expectations of what response this will generate, and my personal motivations and thoughts. His first segment is entitled Political Reasons. He writes, in short, America is rotting from the inside out. And peaceful means...
I think a lot of people believe that.
And peaceful means to stop this seem to be nearly impossible. The inconvenient truth is that our leaders, both Democrat and Republican, have been failing us for decades.
That's true.
They are either complacent or involved in one of the biggest betrayals of the American public in our history, the takeover of the United States government by unchecked corporations.
Okay.
I could write a 10-page essay on all the damage these corporations have caused, but here is what is important, he says.
The United States government is a corporation.
Right.
And no corporation exists without permission from the United States. No U.S. corporation exists without permission from the United States government. So
correct.
I don't know that you can take over the government, like a corporation could take over the government, because the government gives them the ability to exist.
Well, look, Mark, you're talking about the corporation as the legal fiction, this sort of political shield, basically this legal tool that exists. That's what the government allows to exist.
So what else are we talking about?
Without corporations, there would still be businesses.
Right.
So
and,
certainly.
So are we claiming that the United States government has now been taken over by business? Because
I'm not claiming that.
Rich people put the United States government together, and the United States government has always, and all governments,
correct,
like the idea that somehow wealth and power are going to be separated. This is the fallacy that I see in every liberal out there, because they're all like, let's have bigger government so that we can be controlled by the people. When in human history? You have 9,000 years to look at the history of the state. When have wealth and power ever been separated? All you can do is destroy power, and then the wealthy will have less of it.
That's right.
You want small government. You want government. You want more freedom. You want the ability to earn money.
Well, that's what we want, not necessarily you. I mean, we don't know what you want. You haven't called in.
I don't know what anybody wants necessarily. But if you want, really the good things that life has to offer, to advocate for more government power just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, you're right. The government has always been inextricably linked with the politically connected, and the politically connected are frequently the wealthy, and these corporate, the corporate masters out there, and they're all just sort of in and out between one another, right? So, like the government goons sometimes retire from government and then go work for these corporations, or they come from corporations to go into the government, and as you pointed out, governments themselves are also corporations. More coming up.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids,
flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa,
the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Saturday edition of the show. Open phones, as always. Our number is 855-450-FREE. We're going through the manifesto of the alleged shooter down in Texas. Apparently, at least 19 people are dead, 40 injured in a mass shooting in a Wal-Mart, and in and around, I guess, a Walmart. They say it was, I guess, nearby a shopping mall as well. Just absolutely horrifying, and of course the ideas here so far are horrifying. Basically, he's deathly afraid of some sort of what he claims to be a Hispanic invasion into the United States, and we'll get into more of it here, but I do want to let you know about My Magic Mud. It is black tooth powder. This was their original product. They've actually expanded quite a bit. But
yeah, they've got a lot of different products, but the black tooth powder I consider to be the sort of the basis of their business.
Of course. It's made of charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay, completely natural ingredients.
Yep.
The tooth powder, if you wanted to, you could swallow it. It's no problem. No big deal.
I have many times, yeah.
Same thing's true of their toothpaste, by the way. Normally, normal toothpaste, you're not supposed to swallow that stuff.
No, it's not good for you.
Not good for you. But yet they want you to put it on your teeth. Most health food stores are now carrying My Magic Mud. You can go to Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, even Walmart's Natural Beauty aisle, and you can, but better off just staying home and going to mymagicmud.com and then using code FTL20 where you can save 20%. And of course, if you order enough product there, you get free shipping as well. So go to mymagicmud.com, use code FTL20, and save 20% on this amazing product that is clinically proven to whiten teeth. And
it does.
And by the way, that 20% applies to whatever you put in your shopping cart there. It's not just the original tooth powder. It's whatever you want there.
FTL20 at mymagicmud.com.
You got it. Let's go to Joe before we continue with more of this Lunatics Manifesto to try to get some sort of an insight into what crazy thoughts he was thinking. Let's talk to Joe in Grand Rapids. He's listening to WTKG. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that, unfortunately, every time something like this happens, the anti-freedom crowd will use it as an excuse to push more gun control. We know that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And these nut jobs that do these, they always got their little reasons, whether it's racist or religious or some political thing or whatever. They always got their little, in their minds, it makes sense to them, apparently. But, I carry a gun, not because I'm paranoid. I carry one because, criminal activity, and now you got to worry about Antifa and white supremacists and all these other idiots running around. And I think it just seems like a lot of things have been ramped up. And I think you got a lot of unstable people spending way too much time on social media. And you have one outrageous news story keeps getting recycled. And it does something to people that are already unstable, I think. There's no... If you think there's a Hispanic invasion of Texas, I don't know where you've been living for the past 300 years or whatever. I mean, there have been Hispanic people in the Southwest United States since before that was part of the United States.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they don't call it New Mexico for nothing.
Yeah, it's idiotic. This guy, obviously, he's not the brightest, bowl, I guess, or whatever, or the sharpest knife in the drawer, but they just believe this crap, man. And...
Well, it's easy for people who are unsatisfied with their lives for whatever reason. It's easy for them to be pointed to a scapegoat. And these people I mean Hispanics in the South, are a convenient scapegoat. There's a lot of people who love to hate these folks, even though they're really, most of them are just hardworking people that want to have a better life for themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. But the fear that is promulgated surrounding immigration, I mean, we've talked about this issue for years here on Free Talk Live, and we've heard some of the most ridiculous statements coming out of people who are just deathly afraid of the idea that Hispanics want to come here. And we've even had one lady claim that she was afraid she was going to catch leprosy from immigrants at one point. I mean, so I
think the leprosy claims come up more than once.
It may have. It was memorable.
My favorite was the blaming the immigrants for stealing the Muskogee ducks around their apartment complex.
Anyway, Joe, anything else you want to share? Please do.
I think that comes from both sides. The media, it's you got the people who want stronger immigration laws, and you got the other side pushing kids in cages and concentration camps, like we're gassing, illegal aliens or something down there. And it just pushes people who are already on the borderline nuts, Antifa or alt-right or whatever. It pushes them to do stuff like this, man.
Thank you for the self-censorship. I appreciate it, Joe. Thanks for the call, man. Right. Really appreciate your thoughts. The toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So let's share some more of this lunatic's manifesto, or his alleged manifesto, and learn what it was that he was so afraid of, that he thought he needed to go out blasting. And actually, in his case, he didn't go out. He got caught. He's currently in custody. He writes
but he talked like he was going to go out blasting.
He did. That's later on in the manifesto. He says, due to the death of the baby boomers, the increasingly anti-immigrant rhetoric of the right, and the ever-increasing Hispanic population, America will soon become a one-party state. He says the Democrat Party will own America, and they know it. They have already begun the transition.
I've talked to a person who was a staff member for a senator who is currently running for president. And that person did claim to me that basically Republicans do not concern him because because from a demographic standpoint, they're dying. Republicans are largely, white people over the ages of whatever.
They're mostly over 60 here in Keene, New Hampshire, and they barely exist.
I mean, but he acknowledged this in conversation that he had very little fear of the Republican Party in the long run. So there you go. You can take it for what you want to take it for. What it says to me is the Republicans need to figure out ways to expand their demographic base. But, whatever.
Well, how about not being so anti-immigrant? I mean, he even sort of points out that it's partially because they're anti-immigrant is why they're suffering. How about welcoming hardworking people who care about freedom to come here into the United States? How about that?
Republicans will say that they do welcome people that come here legally. It's just that they won't. Generally, it's very difficult to nail them down as to what they would like to see as far as an expansion. There's clearly a demand for being able to come to the United States. Why? Well, A, it's a good place to make money. B, it's a good place to be given free money. I say get rid of the free money and let people come here and work, and then you will do as nations have done throughout mankind's history, which is to welcome new populations.
Well, unfortunately, the Republicans have given up on that talking point if they ever had it. I don't know. I've not been a Republican for very long. I did join them recently because of frustrations over the Libertarian Party, but and also because they're so weak here in the Keene area. It seemed like a ripe opportunity to bring some libertarians in there. So I don't know what their history has been, but they're not. At least these days, they're certainly not welcoming towards various different groups. They seem to be pretty monolithic in their demographic makeup, and
they're looking at how things are, not how things will be.
Yeah. Let's go on here. He says they've already begun the transition by pandering heavily to the Hispanic voting bloc in the first Democratic debate. They intend to use it to open borders, free health care for illegals, citizenship, and more to enact a political coup by importing and then legalizing millions of new voters. With policies
accurate.
With policies like these, the Hispanic support for Democrats will likely become nearly unanimous in the future.
Sure.
The heavy Hispanic population in Texas will make us a Democrat stronghold. Losing Texas and a few other states with a heavy Hispanic population to the Democrats is all it would take for them to win nearly every presidential election.
Yep.
Although the Republican Party is also terrible, he says. Many factions within the Republican Party are pro-corporation. Oh, I remember what I was going to say that they'd given up on. Republicans have given up on an anti-welfare message. I don't know if they ever had it, but they should have if they care about so-called small government and hate socialism as much as they claim to. They've given up on it. They believe they can't get rid of welfare, and they're not even going to try to talk about it.
They believe they can stop immigration, but they can't stop welfare.
It's fanatical.
It's funny.
It's ridiculous. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. So, Mark, I'm hearing you agreeing with a lot of this guy's assessment, I guess. Want to continue on this and get your thoughts, because I'm sure you're going to differ from him here.
Well, yeah, he shut up a Walmart.
More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
When you have a pain in the neck, a real pain in the neck, back, shoulder, or legs, you now have 2 convenient choices to get fast relief without taking another pill. Because now, Sunny Bay heating wraps and pillows are available at both Amazon and Walmart. Yes, see Sunny Bay's 4.5 to 5-star customer reviews on Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Our microwavable heat wraps, heatable neck pillows, and extra large body wraps are designed better for perfect support where and when you need it. Even while driving, Sunny Bay wraps will not burn and stay balanced to provide soothing hot or cold therapy to help treat temporary or chronic pain. And the best part, Sunny Bay quality products start at under $20. Join thousands of happy customers and see why Sunny Bay products have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. It's easy. Click Amazon or Walmart and search today for Sunny Bay.
Hi, I'm Dr. Joel Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy. There's no reason why you shouldn't live to be at least 100 and have a great time getting there. And I'm going to give you a free copy of my lecture that tells you exactly how to do it. In fact, after you've lived a long and healthy life, there should be only 2 documents in your medical chart, a birth certificate and a death certificate. I'm Dr. Wallach with a warning. If you have a 4-inch medical chart, if you take prescription drugs for high cholesterol, high blood pressure, arthritis, joint pains, and other health issues, the medical profession is failing you. They're using you for an ATM machine. My free lecture is going to reveal what pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know. There's been groundbreaking research and discoveries on how to effectively treat or eliminate over 900 different diseases naturally, and it's all in my free lecture called Deadly Recipe. So call toll-free 1-855-79-YOUNG. Again, that's toll-free 1-855-79-YOUNG. 1-855-79-YOUNG.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgoristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agorist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgoristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agorist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgoristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgoristHosting.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and it's a live Saturday edition of the show. You, as always, are invited to join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. We are sharing with you the alleged manifesto of the purported shooter from earlier today in El Paso at a Wal-Mart. He is named Patrick Crusius, aged 21, and he's got himself some political opinions. He's sharing them with us here in his 4-page long, I would say mercifully brief manifesto, one that somebody could actually sit down and read. Many of these, shooters' manifestos are incredibly long and rambling and difficult to follow. This guy, his sentence structure is pretty solid. He can put a sentence together.
The qualifications for shooting up a Walmart aren't good, penmanship.
No doubt. And so he's talking about his frustrations with the political parties. He believes the Democrats are going to get a bunch of Hispanic support and take over the United States. He does say the Republican Party is terrible, saying the many factions within the Republican Party are pro-corporation. He says pro-corporation equals pro-immigration. I'm not sure how that is exactly. But
well, if you're talking about large food production companies, they need cheap labor, and there's of course the artificial lines of borders that make food costs more expensive in many cases. I don't know that. I think NAFTA has largely gotten rid of some of those problems, but whatever. I don't understand exactly why people from Central America travel across the U.S.-Mexican border in order to work in farms just across the border when you'd think those farms could operate just as easily in Mexico. But
many of them have moved down, as I understand it.
Some have, certainly.
To Mexico. He also says that some factions within the Republican Party don't prioritize corporations over our future. So the Democrats, he writes, are nearly unanimous with their support of immigration, while the Republicans are divided over it. At least with Republicans, he claims, the process of mass immigration and citizenship can be greatly reduced. So he is completely he's anti-immigrant. He doesn't want to see people immigrating here.
Period.
It sounds like
legal or otherwise.
He's afraid of the so-called replacement theory. He read some book or whatever called The Great Replacement, some sort of white nationalist conspiracy theory that says that at various different levels, governments are purposefully trying to replace Europeans with non-Europeans, and he's completely bought into this and is quite afraid of that potential. He writes on so that was his political reasons, Mark.
Okay.
Now we have his so-called economic reasons. He says, in short, immigration can only be detrimental to the future of America. Well, now, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure immigration is the reason why relatively unrestricted immigration in the past is one of the major reasons why America is as great as it has been, why this country, the United States, is as free as it has become, because so many people who were seeking freedom to get out from underneath oppressive governments from around the planet came here, and they created businesses that they could never do where they came from, hired a bunch of people, and created an unprecedented level of wealth. That happened here because of immigration. Immigrants in the United States are more likely to be entrepreneurs than native-born people.
Well, that's because this is the place for entrepreneurs to come. This is a great place to make money. And you'd want, as an entrepreneur, you're going to want to come to the United States.
That's why it's good. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why immigration is good for the United States, is because we attract really amazing people that want to come here, and if they don't want to start their own business, at the very least, many of them want to make a better life for themselves. Now, Mark, you did touch on the sort of immigrant that's looking for a handout. Those people do come here.
Exist. I think that if Republicans want to have an opportunity at this point, it's like maybe the ship has sailed, but if there's an opportunity, it's to come to the table with real immigration reform. Now, I'm not claiming that any plan is perfect. I will, however, claim that there is a plan. I've come up with a plan. It's certainly not completely my own, but, got a plan here that may very well work. Allow people to come to this country freely that want to come. Make it impossible for them to get any kind of government assistance at all. Make it impossible. Tell them you're never going to be able to vote. Like, you're not going to be able to vote. And I think that probably as part of this, you have to do something about the United States foreign policy, because if you make it too easy for people to cross the borders, then the terrorists will come. So you have to stop creating terrorists around the world. Best way to do that is to stop supporting foreign oil dictatorships.
So end the government warmongering around the globe, end welfare. These are two major proposals that the Republicans aren't going to propose.
Yep. Let the places in the world that have oil figure out how to get oil out of there. We don't need to subsidize the security costs of major oil corporations.
Let's go on with his fear-mongering here. He says continued immigration will make one of the biggest issues of our time, automation, so much worse. He says some sources say that in under 2 decades, half of American jobs will be lost to it. Of course, some people will be retrained, but most will not. So it makes no sense to keep on letting millions of illegal or legal immigrants flood into the United States and to keep the tens of millions that are already here. He says invaders who also have a close to the highest birth rate of all ethnicities in America. In the near future, America will have to initiate a basic universal income to prevent widespread poverty and civil unrest as people lose their jobs.
Every statist line in the book. Okay, so first off, shooting up immigrants at Walmart isn't going to solve the automation problem.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Maybe you could claim it's going to bring attention to your manifesto, but, historically, 21-year-olds haven't written the most cogent manifestos of all time. So maybe take a decade or two to think about your positions and get back to me. Secondly, it's kind of an ageist comment. Right? Like, he could be the smartest man in the world to come up with this. He certainly believes his crap. Yeah, I think that automation is going to make a lot of really crappy jobs irrelevant to people. And that they're going to be reassigned in the marketplace. We've seen this every time in human history. We have the lowest unemployment in history, and the UBI, the Universal Basic Income people, the UBI people are running around going, it's going to be a catastrophe. Ladies and gentlemen, get a job. We have the lowest unemployment in history. Stop complaining about imaginary unemployment in the future.
Well, Mark, they benefit from this fear-mongering. The political class, they want you to believe that you're not going to be able to work in the future. You're going to need us. You wanted to get rid of the government? You're going to need us for universal basic income. You thought you could have small government? No. You need to have a massive government that sends you a check every single month because you're not going to be able to work. Robots. You've seen the movies, haven't you? It's going to be scary.
Yeah, this is, sadly, people just don't get it. The government that can give you a little check now and then can do anything it wants to you. You are its domesticated lapdog when you take its check. You are the domestic animal. The domestic animal is put to sleep when the owner wishes. The domestic animal is put out to pasture when the owner wishes. When it's time to work, the owner says so. Do you want to be domestic or do you want to be wild? Because this country was founded by wild animals for wild animals. And that's what you're asking for when you're asking for freedom. Admittedly, wild animals have to work for their food.
Most of them aren't asking for freedom. Most people are quite content.
No, what they are asking, what they're demanding, though, is my freedom. In the process of giving up your own freedom, ladies and gentlemen, you must give up that of me and my family. Screw you. It's not yours.
Right. If you want to join the conversation, you can. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. But so what you're pointing out here, Mark, is that this guy has fallen for all the fear-mongering, all the most popular fear-mongering kind of issues of the time. Immigrants are scary. Joblessness, it's a fear on the horizon. And he's combining it all together, and he's, his conclusion is go down shooting. Going on with his economic statement, he says joblessness in itself is a source of civil unrest. The less dependence on a government welfare system, the better. The lower the unemployment rate, the better. Achieving ambitions...
The lowest unemployment rate in history.
He says
recent history.
Achieving ambitious... He says ambitions, but I think he means ambitious. Social projects like universal health care and UBI would become far more likely to succeed if tens of millions of dependents are removed.
I see. So he's worrying that the immigrants are coming here and bloating the system with lazy people, so that now UBI is farther down the pike.
He's saying that UBI would be more popular or more likely to succeed if you could get rid of population. Okay, I see what he's saying there. It's crazy, but we'll get into it. More coming up here in Hour 3. This is Free Talk Live.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,439, silver at $16.31, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,388. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, physicians from 2 top universities are calling on Congress to promptly investigate the deaths of 6 migrant children in the government's custody, warning that the widely reported poor conditions in detention centers could be putting thousands of children at risk for infectious diseases. The Mind Unleashed reports that 3 of the 6 children who died while in U.S. custody since last September died partially because they had contracted influenza. 2 died after spending twice the amount of time in a Border Patrol station than the Department of Homeland Security typically allows. About 2,000 migrant children are in U.S. custody on any given day, many after a grueling journey from Central America and elsewhere. The children are in Border Patrol stations, where many have been kept for far longer than the facilities are equipped to house people. Detention centers run by ICE and the Health and Human Services Department, and facilities run by for-profit government contractors like CoreCivic. The doctors urge lawmakers to probe how the widely reported unsanitary conditions in the centers contributed to the deaths that have been recorded. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A new report from Georgetown Law's Center on Privacy and Technology suggests that Immigration and Customs Enforcement may be using illegal immigration as a type of cover to track and spy on Americans in violation of their Fourth Amendment rights. Activist Post reports that 3 years ago, the center revealed that nearly half of all U.S. adults are already in the FBI's facial recognition database, which is largely sourced from DMV photos. ICE has apparently requested special access to Department of Motor Vehicles databases in at least 3 states, Utah, Washington State, and Vermont, which the federal agency plans to use in conjunction with facial recognition technology to scan people's driver's license photos and match them against criminal and residency databases, all without their knowledge or consent. The documents uncovered this week are the first confirmation that states have granted ICE specifically, not just the FBI, access to those databases. The CIA has released a batch of documents detailing how their Office of Public Affairs staff met with film director Michael Bay and successfully leaned on him to make changes to the script to his film 13 Hours. The Mind Unleashed reports that the 2016 action thriller is the only major movie Hollywood has produced about the attacks on the United States Special Mission in Benghazi and the nearby CIA annex. It grossed less than $70 million against a $50 million budget and is the least commercially successful film Bay has ever produced. While audiences rated 13 Hours more highly than critics, the film's attempt to capitalize on the politics of the Benghazi attacks largely failed. The documents released under the Freedom of Information Act reveal that Bay first approached the CIA in March 2015, weeks before production started. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Hi, I'm Clint Webb, and I'm running for Senate. I have a short cropped haircut, a pretty enough yet accessible looking wife, and a newborn baby that I've dressed in a suit to prove to you that I mean business. For the last 15 years, I've lived my life in such a bland, uncontroversial, and repressed manner that it's almost unnatural. Why? Because I've been preparing to be your representative since I was a child. Most well-adjusted, sane men would be hesitant to take a job where their decisions would so drastically affect the lives of so many. But not me. I possess a sort of sociopathic narcissism that makes me think that I should be in charge of everyone. But all of that needs to start here at home, in this beautiful state that I've grown to love since I moved here 18 months ago. Together, we can piggyback some of our state's legitimate needs onto my unquenchable lust for self-glorification. And that's a promise.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We are here on the live Saturday edition of the program that you're tuned into, and we are grateful that you're there as well. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
We're going through the manifesto of the lunatic who shot up some innocent folks at a Wal-Mart earlier today in El Paso, or the El Paso, Texas area, taking out at least 19 human lives and injuring another 40. It's a terrible shooting, just absolutely horrifying, of course, as they all are. One of the worst, apparently, in U.S. history as far as body count is concerned. The individual in question is still alive. He was taken alive by police. His name is Patrick Crucius. There is a manifesto that he allegedly has put out there, and we are sharing that with you. It's actually relatively short, so I want to continue with more of his, what he claims are his political and economic reasons for slaughtering more than a dozen, nearly 2 dozen innocent people. And we're going to continue with your calls and thoughts. Certainly welcome as well. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. As I say, Ian and Mark here. Let's continue with him. He was saying, just in case you're just tuning in, he's basically sounding like an arch-statist sort of melded together from Republican and Democrat talking points.
That's what he sounds like. Yeah.
On one hand, he is deathly afraid of immigrants and believes that they actually harm the economy, even though the opposite is true. He does, seem to understand that welfare is a problem, but at the same time, he embraces, it sounds like, universal health care and the so-called UBI, the Universal Basic Income.
Yeah.
So he's embracing some major kind of statist concepts. He's anti-corporate.
This is what I consider to be the fundamental flaw in modern progressivism, is that we've drawn a polygon on the map. Inside that polygon, we will institute socialism. Because if you attempt to institute it outside, like just let anybody come into the polygon, the socialism is going to fail because a bunch of people who don't want to work are going to come here, which, of course, undermines the whole philosophy that, hey, everybody's going to work. Hey, everybody's going to work. Don't worry about it. So yeah. This guy's a statist.
He is a total statist. He says he believes that the UBI would be more likely to succeed if tens of millions of dependents are removed. So he's actually advocating for deporting people. He wants to send people out of the United States. He goes on to say, even though new migrants do the dirty work, their kids typically don't. He claims they want to live the American dream, which is why they get college degrees and fill higher-paying, skilled positions. This is why
now it's a problem that the children of immigrants are getting college degrees and taking our better jobs.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, I mean, a protectionist is a protectionist.
I have not heard this before.
Okay. A protectionist is going to be a protectionist all the way up the line. I mean, they're not just going to want to protect the construction workers and the folks picking fruit.
My grandmother was the child of an immigrant.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. And you're her grandson.
How far down the line does this go? I mean, exactly. Before long,
who does he want to deport? I guess, right?
Right.
How many generations back? He says this is why corporations lobby for even more immigration he says illegal immigration, even after decades of it happening. He claims
I do think that corporations lobby for and make more illegal immigration possible, because illegal immigration actually allows the big agra to institute a sort of serfdom, a modern-day serfdom over these migrant workers. Let me explain. So if I come here crossing the border, my name's Juan, and I just want a job. All right? I go work for the job. I go get the job at this place. And then somebody across the street is offering, instead of, I don't know what they get paid, $25 a bushel, they're offering $30 a bushel. I want to go across the street. Whoa, Juan. I know where you live. And it would be a real shame if Migra, as they call it, the immigration authorities, Migra, found out that you were here. Well, now you're just stuck earning the $25 a bushel, and it stops the marketplace from working. My labor's worth whatever my labor's worth, whatever I can negotiate for it. And if I can negotiate $35, $40, $50 a bushel, whatever it might be, then I'm stopped from doing that by these immigration laws.
He goes on to say that even as migrant children flood skilled jobs, corporations make this worse by lobbying for even more work visas to be issued for skilled foreign workers to come here. So he is completely against any immigration whatsoever. He's not one of those Republicans who claims that they want legal immigrants. Oh, they're okay with immigration. They just want it to be legal. They want you to have to jump through all these bureaucratic hoops. He's saying get rid of immigrants. He says don't let any more in, but also get rid of the ones that are already here. Fear-mongering continues. He says recently the Senate under a Republican administration, he puts Republican in all caps, has greatly increased the number of foreign workers that will take American jobs. Remember, he writes, that both Democrats and Republicans support immigration and work visas. Corporations need to keep replenishing the labor pool for both skilled and unskilled jobs to keep wages down. Well, I got news for you. If you keep wages down, it keeps your costs down, and the costs can be passed on to the consumer, meaning lower prices. Going on, he says automation, he claims, is a good thing, as it will eliminate...
Now we like automation, all right.
It will eliminate the need for new migrants to fill unskilled jobs, jobs that Americans can't survive on anyway. Automation can and would replace millions of low-skilled jobs if immigrants were deported. This source of competition for skilled labor from immigrants and visa holders around the world has made a very difficult situation even worse for natives as they compete in the skilled job market.
Just so you know, the natives don't think you're a native, pal.
You mean the Native Americans?
Right. The Native Americans, the people that he's complaining about. Most, Hispanics coming across the border illegally are, at the very least, in part, Native American.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they may not be Native American from
this part of America,
right, the particular polygon on the map called the United States, but certainly they are Native American to the continents, North and South America. You hear the term America being repeated in here? That's because they're Americans.
He says, to compete, people have to get better credentials by spending more time in college. It used to be that a high school degree was worth something. Well, I got news for you. The college degrees aren't really worth that much anyway.
Well, I mean, high school degrees were worth something when you didn't have the government mandating that every moron get a high school diploma. Now you have states that are like, well, you got to be 18 to get out of school. When I was in school, at least it was 16. So a lot of
right.
But the freshman class was significantly larger than the senior class. I presume many of them went on to live fine lives. I don't know, but whatever. The more you mandate these rules, the less valuable that government education is going to be. When everybody gets a free bachelor's degree and it's mandated, the bachelor's degree is not going to be worth anything either. It's just going to be 16th grade.
And as he does correctly point out here, he says the cost of college degrees has exploded as their value has plummeted. This has led to a generation of indebted, overqualified students filling menial, low-paying, and unfulfilling jobs. He further claims, of course, these migrants and their children have contributed to the problem, but they are not the sole cause of it. The cause of that problem is the educational industrial complex, being tied in with governments.
Right, with its handout, peeping for more food like a baby chick.
Yeah, governments basically funding all these constant increases in costs over these various colleges. So you've got a college bubble basically built by the college system and the governments that are the same thing. I mean, most colleges are essentially government run. There's very few that aren't state colleges, and those that aren't are still getting state money for a variety of different things. He goes on to complain. He says, the American lifestyle affords our citizens an incredible quality of life. However, our lifestyle is destroying the environment of our country.
He's got
Here's another one.
Every single one of these talking points down.
So I'm telling you, he's a total statist. The decimation of the environment is creating a massive burden for future generations.
So this I lay at the feet of sort of media. And it's constant, we're all going to die!
Fear. Once again, fear-mongering.
Right. And, I mean, why wouldn't this guy go out in a blaze of glory if he thought the world was this awful?
There's more on the way here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We got more from the Manifesto, the alleged manifesto of the purported killer today in El Paso, Texas at the Wal-Mart. More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com. And it's a place you can send any business. And they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Are you a prisoner? Are you stuck in a relationship where you're not allowed to do what you really want? Are you stuck in a job or business that sucks up your time and saps your freedom? That describes most men, but there's another way to live. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves here. You can bring up whatever you want, though we've been focusing on the shooting, the latest one, the mass shooting in Texas today, where some reports saying now 20 are dead, with dozens more that have been injured. It's Ian and Mark here in the studio tonight. Mark, tell me about Alpha Male 2.0.
Well, it's some awesome guy stuff. If you feel stuck in a job or relationship or both, Caleb Jones has taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses. You could move to Mexico and be an illegal immigrant and still make lots of money. And how to date women under your terms. 2.0, alpha males have learned how to break free and how to truly live. Shouldn't you be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, and not have to ask permission to answer to anyone? To date whomever you want, even if you're already in a relationship. Caleb's point, living in a free society isn't going to help you much if your life isn't free. Visit freelifeinfo.com and download the Alpha Male 2.0 Starter Pack for free. Included are 7 free books and a podcast so that you can start living a truly free life right now. The Alpha Male 2.0 Starter Pack will show you the exact strategies Caleb and his team use to get better with women, increase their income and personal freedom and happiness. Get your free Alpha Male 2.0 Starter Pack at freelifeinfo.com. It's freelifeinfo.com. We had this guy on the show.
From Freedom Fest.
He's great.
Yeah, he was great.
freelifeinfo.com.
Maybe this lunatic shooter, could have gotten some more positive messages in his life. Unfortunately, he's just absorbed all the negativity about immigrants, about corporations, and now he gets into his complaints about the destruction of the environment. Basically embracing all of the statist so-called solutions to these in many cases state-created problems in the first place. But we're sharing the manifesto here as we continue with this is toward the bottom of page 2 of it. He writes that corporations are heading the destruction of our environment by shamelessly over-harvesting resources. Well, that's actually not what companies tend to do if they actually own the land. They want to sustainably harvest, because if you over-harvest, you're going to go out of business at some point when you run out of...
You will see over-harvesting on land that companies don't own.
Owned by the government in many cases and leased to corporations.
So, for instance, you have sort of international waters out in the ocean. Well, a fisherman's job now is to run out there and get as many fish as possible. However, if a fisherman could stake out, 100 square miles of ocean and basically farm that, then he'd need to have studs. He'd need to have heifers, or whatever the equivalent is in fish world. I have no idea. He'd need to have all these things in order to continue to supply fish. But today, all his job is to go out there and get as many things that swim and bring money and bring them back.
He says this has been a problem for decades. For example, this phenomenon is brilliantly portrayed in the decades-old classic The Lorax. Watersheds from around the country, especially in agricultural areas, are being depleted. Fresh water is being polluted from farming and oil drilling operations. Consumer culture is creating thousands of tons of unnecessary plastic waste and electronic waste, and recycling to help slow this down is almost non-existent. Urban sprawl creates inefficient cities, which unnecessarily destroys millions of acres of land.
This is just a man who's lost hope. This is a man who's been fed line after line about how we're all going to die.
It's a lack mentality as well.
Well, that's all there is on the news. It's all about the pie is shrinking and your piece of it is getting smaller. That's all they say all the time. And I'm not surprised.
Right, and blame the 1%. When, of course,
who
many
else
of them
would you
are
blame?
The politicians.
I mean, sure, your income's going up year over year. Your class is, the people in your class are making more money. However, the people in that class are making a lot more money. So that's a real problem.
He says, we even use God knows how many trees worth of paper towels just to wipe water off our hands. Everything I have seen and heard.
Paper towels are made from trees. Trees are produce.
They're completely replaceable.
Trees are the things that scrub carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and they grow again. I mean, yes, the cycle of a carrot is one season.
But this is the
cycle of a pine tree might be 30 years.
This is the stuff they're teaching, and they have been teaching in schools for decades now. This limited mentality of we're running out of resources. Oh my God, the rainforests are being cut down, even though people can plant trees and companies that harvest trees plant more trees. So it just, again, it all comes down to a question of property rights in a lot of cases. Do you have property rights? Do you have the ability to own and sell property? Or are these companies leasing land from governments, in which case the governments don't care about what happens to them, and the companies don't have an incentive to care either at that point.
It comes to the Amazon rainforest, you have a lot of property rights violations going on there. But
like stealing it from the natives?
The idea of creating a tree farm, I would like to see the numbers on tree farms and exactly how much they are good or bad for the environment. But as far as creating paper towels, big deal. I mean, for one, you want to solve that problem, legalize hemp.
So he comes to his solution here after saying the government is unwilling, he says, to tackle these issues beyond empty promises since they are owned by corporations. Corporations that also like immigration because more people means a bigger market for their products. I just want to say, by the way, there's a global market for products. It doesn't matter whether or not they're inside this plot of land or inside another plot of land. People everywhere are going to want some paper towels. But going on, he says, I just want to say that I love the people of this country. But GD, most of y'all are just too stubborn to change your lifestyle. So the next logical
So I'm going
step,
to have to shoot you.
So the next logical step is to decrease the number of people in America using resources. If we can get rid of enough people, then our way of life can become more sustainable. Because those people won't use resources anywhere else. Is he talking about deportation or just mass slaughtering?
You could do that with some kind of eugenics program.
Maybe that's what he's got in mind.
Well, I don't know what he's got in mind. He's going to prison. They don't get a lot of opportunity. The government doesn't recruit from there as much as you might think they should.
He then gets into his gear, which we won't read that section. He does have an AK-47 and talks about the ammunition.
AK-47, not an AR-15.
He does say he wants an AR-15, and if he has the chance, he will pick one up.
Well, he's not going to get it where he's going.
I don't know if he had it, though, while he was there, Mark.
As I understand, he did not.
Okay.
I did check on the type of gun seems to be important, and the news, reported that he had a AK-47.
Yeah.
And, of course, you'll get the mainstream media misreporting this stuff all the time.
He says so now this is a paragraph of reaction. He writes, statistically, millions of migrants have returned to their home countries to reunite with the family they lost contact with when they moved to America. They come here as economic immigrants, not for asylum reasons. This is an encouraging sign that the Hispanic population is willing to return to their home countries if given the right incentive, an incentive that myself and many other patriotic Americans will provide. This will remove the threat of the Hispanic voting bloc, which will make up for the loss of millions of baby boomers. This will also make the elites that run corporations realize it's not in their interest to continue to piss off Americans. So he believes he is the vanguard. He believes he's the front line of what will be a...
They all do.
Phalanx.
If I just go out here and shoot a few people, a bunch more people will go out and do the same. Well, no, they won't.
And that this will scare
Thank God.
Hispanics into leaving the United States. We got a little bit more. You can share your thoughts as well. Toll-free number, 855-450, free like freedom.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
NASA's recent discovery of water on Mercury has led to speculation among scientists that the planet could potentially sustain an intergalactic space prison housing the universe's worst criminals. Scientists believe that organic compounds found on the planet's surface could be useful for creating an off-world space Australia, where strength is the only law. However, they caution it is too early to say whether or not fights among the space jail's prisoners would be broadcast here on Earth for the entertainment of wealthy gamblers. But NASA's lead researchers do say that Mercury's ability to support human life raises important questions about who the prison guards would be.
Perhaps the guards themselves would be space mercenaries, or maybe we just use robots.
The robots would have guns for hands.
Well, obviously.
Critics inside NASA caution against funneling too many resources into the Mercury project when it would be so much cooler to build a prison on the moon ruled by clones of the prisoners themselves. Researchers encourage the public to read their findings, which have been released in the form of a graphic novel titled The Mercury Cipher.
This is the Onion News Network.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Oh my God, this lunatic. Just reading ahead in this ridiculous and outrageous and totally statist, pro-government, pro-states manifesto written by the alleged shooter there.
He wanted some government. He's going to get some.
He sure is. Of course, so are the rest of us. The government will likely use his shooting as an excuse to ever increase their size and their scope. So they will essentially be fulfilling his wishes, ultimately, by doing the thing they would have done anyway. But now they're going to do...
Never let a crisis go to waste.
Yeah, maybe sooner. So we'll share more with you here from the alleged manifesto in moments. I did put a link to it on our social media. So if you would like, you may follow us on a few different social media places. There's Mastodon, which is a decentralized social media that's competitive with Twitter. You can go to toot.freetalklive.com. to follow us there. There's also Twitter at twitter.freetalklive.com and telegram.freetalklive.com, whichever T you prefer. So we continue. Ian and Mark in the studio here tonight. I do want to say also thank you to Richard Freeman, who is a Free Talk Live Silver Amplifier. Richard is contributing $5 a month to this program's AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. If you like what we do here on Free Talk Live, talking about the ideas of liberty, freedom, and peace, cryptocurrency every single night here on the radio, 7 nights a week, on over 200 radio stations across the entire week. That's how many stations we reach. And if you like what we do, of course, we're online as well. Then you can help us out by becoming an amplifier and getting some cool perks, some benefits for being an amper over at amp.freetalklive.com. It's ampamp.freetalklive.com. I sent out an AMP newsletter today, as a matter of fact. So it's amp.freetalklive.com. As we go to your calls and thoughts, a little more from the Lunatics Manifesto coming up here in moments. But first, let's talk to Richard. He's in Memphis, watching us on YouTube. Go ahead, Richard.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, you're on the air. Doing good.
Well, I didn't want to really talk about this, but I do have to ask. Like, the El Paso shooting that you guys keep mentioning, like, do you think that really happened?
God.
Well,
you can't be for real
on
this, right?
It's a legitimate question.
All right.
No.
The answer is yes, I believe it really happened.
Okay. Do you think that Sandy Hook happened?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, all right. I'll leave that where it's been. El Paso, I'm not sure about. I know for a fact that Sandy Hook didn't happen.
You know for a fact. Okay, what are the facts?
Wait. I've got a question. Do you think that the United States leadership and maybe world leaders worldwide are possibly shape-shifting lizard people?
Good question.
No.
Okay,
No,
good.
I mean,
That's ridiculous, Mark.
That is a ridiculous conspiracy theory. Now we have a ridiculous conspiracy theory and a not ridiculous conspiracy theory, and we have to find the twain they shall meet. Go ahead.
Right. I agree with that. I understand that comment.
All right, so what sort of cockamamie claim are you going to make about how you believe that the shooting of a bunch of children in a school wasn't real?
Where do I start? I mean,
I'd like to start with Alex Jones getting his pantsuit off of him for saying the same damn thing.
Okay, well, how about the fact that the Sandy Hook wasn't the elementary school that was broadcasted, the day
pictures.
of the tragedy?
All right. I have to accept what you say because
it's another school, and we're talking about Sandy Hook. Like,
are you talking about? Are you saying that on the day of the shooting in Sandy Hook, that the news media got the picture wrong? That's your evidence that it didn't happen?
They were surveilling an entirely different school.
Who is they?
Whatever broadcast that you want. I mean, it was across. It was Fox, it was CNN, it was everybody.
So you think that because the media made some mistake with what direction to point their cameras, that's proof that people that weren't slaughtered, that parents didn't lose their children's lives that day? What happened to all the children? Were they all fake?
Different school.
What happened to the children, sir?
Let us not forget that one of the fathers of one of the alleged victims was smoking and joking before he had to get into media form.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
I don't know what pictures you've seen, but let me ask you this.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't looked into these every crazy, wacky conspiracy theory. So let me ask you a question. We are part of the media, Ian and I. We're two guys in a living room in a house in Keene, New Hampshire. All right. Now we're not on the payroll of the Bilderbergers or the Trilateral Commission or any of these other organizations out there. The UN
they paid you to say that, obviously.
Does not give me a check. I swear to God, it doesn't happen. All right? Now, I could have, on the day of Sandy Hook, gone down to Connecticut. It's only an hour and a half from Keene, New Hampshire, and I could have taken a look. I didn't, because why would I? I don't run that kind of news organization. But I do know some of the people in these news organizations. We go to events and we meet these people, and none of them have ever suggested, even for a moment, that they're somehow controlled. I mean, Ian and I have been offered jobs by these organizations, and none of them have ever said, well, you're first going to have to sign the waiver that says that you're going to do everything that the Rothschilds tell us that we have to do. I mean, this stuff is... It's just too much for me to believe.
It's lunacy is what it is. It's crazy conspiracy theory, Richard. The idea that dozens of children, I don't remember how many people were shot to death in Sandy Hook, but it was a fairly large number, that dozens of people were eliminated from this planet, and that you believe they all, didn't exist to begin with?
If you want my honest opinion, I don't think it ever happened.
Okay, but I'm asking you,
so no kids
what
died.
happened to the children who everybody is saying died? Okay, because every one of those kids has parents and grandparents and cousins and friends.
If they were real kids, they had real grandparents and cousins and all that stuff.
But you're saying you don't believe that they were real children in the first place?
Look, I think his name was Parker. He was the father of one of the, he was the...
All right, you didn't want to answer the question. Go ahead. Your last chance. Go ahead, Richard.
I'm answering the question. When you look up that father, that's just like I said, smoking and joking, having a good laugh, and then gets into TV mode, and then you tell me if you don't think, maybe something else happened that day.
Yeah, I don't think that just because one person
actor theory.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think that just because one person was videoed having, a differing personality from one moment to the next doesn't mean that something did not happen.
Or that somebody, who looks like somebody who was one of the victims in this circumstance. You'll find that a lot.
Thank you, I think, for the call. Ridiculous. We go on here with Sarah in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, Sarah. You're on the air.
All right. So I was calling because I haven't listened to you guys much, but I'm kind of new to New Mexico, and just became aware of a state bill that was passed in March, supposedly to protect women from domestic abusers, that restricts people convicted of a domestic violence crime from owning a gun. Now, that would sound good on the surface, but as it turns out here, any domestic disturbance call, it results in an arrest.
Oh, boy.
And is convicted as a crime. Now, you can make a domestic disturbance call on anybody, and when the police show up, there can be nothing going on. But they still have to charge someone with a crime.
Oh, it's one of those states where if you show up, that somebody has to be arrested?
Ridiculous.
Yep. And so if you're a married couple, and I'm not going to say why this is so important to me right now. If you're a married couple and somebody calls a domestic disturbance and they show up and charge one of you with a crime, that crime is a misdemeanor, and by State Bill 328 passed in March, that if convicted, that person can no longer own a firearm.
It's terrible.
Systematic disarmament.
Is it true? I want to know, and Sarah, if you want to hang on, you can. Is it true, though, that someone else can call a domestic and get an arrest to happen? Or does the call have to originate from one of the two or one of the people involved? There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. So it naturally has antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-infection, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. But maybe more importantly, Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea builds corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die in oxygen. The tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea is only $34.95 plus shipping. Order now at shopsupertea.com or call 818-984-6100. That's shopsupertea.com, 818-984-6100, shopsupertea.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Moments remain here. Maybe enough time for you. If you're on the line now, you can be at 855-450-FREE, or you can call in on our Discord on-air call-in line rooms over on our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
We've been sharing from the Manifesto, the total fear-mongering statist manifesto of this young person who allegedly shot up a bunch of innocent people at a Wal-Mart earlier today. His name Patrick Crusius, age 21. And your thoughts are certainly welcome on that or anything that's on your mind. We're going back to Sarah in New Mexico. And Sarah, you're back on Free Talk Live. Hey, Sarah, so you were pointing out these ridiculous rules that exist in a lot of places. I don't know how many states have it, but that require the police to arrest somebody whenever it is they show up at a domestic violence call. And you're saying not only is that in place in New Mexico, but also now they're going to use those arrests as an excuse to deprive those people of their right to bear arms. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And if you're, yes, that is correct. And then if you are married, that deprives the other party's right, the alleged victim, of their right to bear arms as well.
Wait a minute. If you're married, they will strip the right to bear arms from both people involved in the conflict?
Technically, if you're married, it's jointly held property. Now, if one person is in their home and damages property during an argument, that can be a criminal misdemeanor of damage against the household member's property, right? Because it's jointly held. Now, anything acquired during a marriage is jointly held property. It's community property. So all the firearms are also community property. So a convicted misdemeanor on a domestic violence also includes the firearms of the alleged victim. That leaves the whole household without firearms.
Lovely. There is something I want to suggest here to folks, because as I asked out on the way out to the break, if this is true that even your neighbor can call the police on a domestic incident and then they still have to make an arrest. I mean, I'm against the idea of mandatory arrest, period. I think that's a terrible concept.
It takes the ability, law enforcement out of the hands of law enforcement.
It takes any level of discretion or whatever. But whether or not this rule is in place where you live, and again, I don't know which states have these mandatory arrest rules, it would be a bad idea to answer the door for the police. Unless you are the one who, called the call in and you feel like you really want to talk to these people, especially if you didn't make this call. If none of the people in the home made the call and police are knocking at your door, look, I'm not an attorney, so this isn't legal advice, but I'd be very interested in seeing what the police would do if nobody answered the door. You are, as I understand it, under no obligation whatsoever. I know they do it in all the movies and the television shows, but you have no obligation to talk to these people. You have no obligation to answer the door for them whatsoever. They can pound away on your front door, but if they don't have a warrant to enter that premises, which they're probably not going to get just simply on the say-so of a neighbor making a phone call, in the middle of the night, then they can't come in to your household legally, as I understand it.
A lot of times you don't know why they're pounding on the door, though. And
no reason to talk to them. If they're pounding on your door, it's probably not for a good purpose. they're not after a murderer that just ran into your house, right? Because you probably would have figured out if a murderer had just ran into your house, or some wanted criminal had just decided to use your living room as an escape plan. So that's not the reason they're pounding on your door, right? You probably are pretty sure whether or not there's a fire going on in your home, so they're probably not pounding on your door to rescue you from some sort of natural occurrence or whatever. So
I had a cop pound on my door a couple of years ago to tell me that somebody had ran over my sign, the house number sign. I don't have a mailbox, so effectively ran over my mailbox.
He could leave a note if it was that important. Go ahead, Sarah. Any other thoughts? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. But this could happen if you're sitting in a car in a parking lot.
Mm.
Somebody can call the police, and they can show up and see nothing wrong and still have to write a citation for a criminal misdemeanor if your car is messed up. And then you're still looking at everybody's spare arm being taken away.
I still wouldn't talk to him. If they showed up at a car, if I'm in a car in a parking lot and there was an argument that was going on, and some cop shows up and says somebody called me, I'm not going to answer any of those questions. I've no reason to talk to these people. The more information you give them, and thank you, Sarah, good call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The more information you give these people, the closer they're going to get to making an arrest. There's a dozen cars in the parking lot, maybe more than a dozen, maybe dozens of cars in the parking lot. How is that officer going to know 100% whether or not he's even found the right car? Did the person give the license plate number when they called in? Was the person even telling the truth? If the officer didn't witness the actual fight, like if the officer pulls up and the wife's got a knife out, the man's throwing fisticuffs at her, there's an actual fight going on, or they're fighting in the parking lot at that time, then the officer can say he's a witness to it. But otherwise, just going on the say-so of a neighbor, that's not the same. The cop can't just make, as I understand it, a cop cannot just make an arrest of somebody because the neighbor said something happened.
Yeah, they'd have to come up with a bit more than that, but
right.
You would think. But then again,
Well, they can do whatever they want to do. But
don't forget that New Mexico's a pretty corrupt state.
Well, they're all corrupt.
Yeah. Well,
the fact is the police...
They don't have rankings of most corrupt states for nothing.
Right. But the fact is, if you are approached by a cop and you're not driving, so again, the scenario was in a parking lot. You're not driving. You don't have an obligation to show that cop an identification in most places, as I understand it.
Some places.
In some places you do. So, check your local BS laws and see what they say. But in many cases, you don't have an obligation to show ID. You may have an obligation to identify yourself to the officer, but beyond that, you have no obligation, as I understand it, and again, not a lawyer, but you have no obligation to answer their questions. You don't have to talk yourself into an arrest, which is likely what would happen. Let's go to Jonathan. He's in Virginia listening online. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Hey, so I wanted to start by talking about the current situation with the Buckingham County Jail here in Virginia.
All right. Let's hear it.
So there are plenty of people there who have murdered people, just like Mark.
That's not very nice.
I'm not in the Buckingham County Jail.
Mark didn't murder anybody.
Mark murdered everyone.
Okay. Thanks for the call. I think he said something that he wasn't allowed to say right at the very end. Mostly got cut off, but we'll go ahead and dump him anyway just because he was rude.
Funny.
No, it really wasn't funny.
Well, he was doing his best.
Going on. Let me give you a little bit more here from this lunatic's manifesto, the alleged manifesto from the shooter Patrick Crusius at the Texas Wal-Mart. He finally makes the statement that he believes that his shooting will be starting a thing. He thinks that other people are going to follow suit.
Says so many of these people do.
And he says it will make the elites that run corporations realize it's not in their interest to continue to piss off Americans. Corporate America doesn't need to be destroyed, but just shown they're on the wrong side of history, that if they don't bend, they will break.
Well, I guess he can watch the outcomes from death row in Texas.
Right.
I don't know where it's at. Austin, maybe?
So then I'm not going to go on and read any more specifically. We got through the bulk of it. We got through his political reasons. We got through his economic reasons. We skipped the gear section. We got through his reaction. There's then one more section called personal reasons and thoughts. And this is where it gets a little more unfocused. It becomes a little more kind of typical manifesto, rambly. He tries to, encourage other people to follow suit with more shootings and more fear-mongering about America being destroyed. And then he gets into his opinions about race. He says, I'm against race mixing because it destroys genetic diversity and creates identity problems. He claims...
Okay, genetic diversity and identity problems. All right, the genetic diversity isn't necessary when you're talking about white people living in Florida. All right, if you were concerned about the genetic diversity of the world, you'd want to move Europeans back to Europe.
Well, that's not what he wants to do. He likes where he is, and he wants to send everybody else back. He claims
white people in El Paso.
He claims that, he does find something horrific, Mark. He says the idea of deporting or murdering all non-white Americans is horrific. Many have been here at least as long as the whites and have done as much to build our country. The best solution to this for now would be to divide America into a confederacy of territories with at least one territory for each race.
Oh, God. How do you get them to move there? Get a little
force,
racial concentration camps.
Yeah, force. That's what he wants to do.
All right.
He wants to force people into his little racist belief system of this is the way the races should be divided. Force away people outside of the country who he thinks should leave, and everybody else that's left should be divvied up into race-based states.
He can send requests to the warden in Huntsville, where he's going to end up on death row, to see whether or not he can get racially segregated cells.
Well, he should be happy because there's a lot of race warfare and things like that in
he will
prison,
create his future.
All right, that's it. We've linked to that on our social media on toot.freetalklive.com. That's our Mastodon, and then twitter.freetalklive.com and telegram.freetalklive.com. You can see it for yourself. You can discuss it in our Discord chat over at discord.lrn.fm, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt,
GCN has disconnected early, and what do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin, but imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Questioning authority is
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,439, silver at $16.31, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,388. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, physicians from 2 top universities are calling on Congress to promptly investigate the deaths of 6 migrant children in the government's custody, warning that the widely reported poor conditions in detention centers could be putting thousands of children at risk for infectious diseases. The Mind Unleashed reports that 3 of the 6 children who died while in U.S. custody since last September died partially because they had contracted influenza. 2 died after spending twice the amount of time in a Border Patrol station than the Department of Homeland Security typically allows. About 2,000 migrant children are in U.S. custody on any given day, many after a grueling journey from Central America and elsewhere. The children are in Border Patrol stations, where many have been kept for far longer than the facilities are equipped to house people. Detention centers run by ICE and the Health and Human Services Department, and facilities run by for-profit government contractors like CoreCivic. The doctors urge lawmakers to probe how the widely reported unsanitary conditions in the centers contributed to the deaths that have been recorded. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A new report from Georgetown Law's Center on Privacy and Technology suggests that immigration and customs enforcement may be using illegal immigration as a type of cover to track and spy on Americans in violation of their Fourth Amendment rights. Activist Post reports that 3 years ago, the center revealed that nearly half of all U.S. adults are already in the FBI's facial recognition database, which is largely sourced from DMV photos. ICE has apparently requested special access to Department of Motor Vehicles databases in at least 3 states, Utah, Washington State, and Vermont, which the federal agency plans to use in conjunction with facial recognition technology to scan people's driver's license photos and match them against criminal and residency databases, all without their knowledge or consent. The documents uncovered this week are the first confirmation that states have granted ICE specifically, not just the FBI, access to those databases. The CIA has released a batch of documents detailing how their Office of Public Affairs staff met with film director Michael Bay and successfully leaned on him to make changes to the script to his film 13 Hours. The Mind Unleashed reports that the 2016 action thriller is the only major movie Hollywood has produced about the attacks on the United States Special Mission in Benghazi and the nearby CIA annex. It grossed less than $70 million against a $50 million budget and is the least commercially successful film Bay has ever produced. While audiences rated 13 Hours more highly than critics, the film's attempt to capitalize on the politics of the Benghazi attacks largely failed. The documents released under the Freedom of Information Act reveal that Bay first approached the CIA in March 2015, weeks before production started. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A report released Tuesday by physicists at Stanford University revealed that the entire known universe, from the whole of human civilization to the totality of matter and energy, is actually the fictional setting of a cop show called Hard Case. According to authors of the report, existence as we know it was created solely to provide the framework for the primetime drama that airs weekly in a parallel universe, and that every historical event prior to the show's September 2008 pilot, including the Renaissance, World War II, evolution, the September 11th attacks, and the presidential administrations of Washington through Clinton, never actually happened and are merely part of the elaborate backstory crafted by Hard Case creator and showrunner Dominic Egan.
We used to to believe that our universe operates under immutable laws of thermodynamics and gravitational relativity, but now we know everything just comes from the minds of Hard Case's 12 staff writers. Overall, it seems like a very well-written show.
Physicists have theorized that the universe as we know it will cease to exist whenever Hard Case airs its final episode.
This is the Onion News Network.
Sound too nice. You know, I am Canadian after all, but all right, and welcome back, everyone, to this Saturday edition. I keep saying Saturday edition. To this edition, right? It's always on Saturday. Of Questioning Authority live tonight, and I'm just going to get straight to the point. You could probably predict this. Actually, no, you probably couldn't predict this. So I got everything working in regards to taking calls, and, Ian and I worked it all out, got all the bugs, it was working, and just as I was about to try it, and you got to stick the headphones into the mixer to hear my my output levels, and I didn't have the adapter. I didn't think to bring it, so anyways, it is what it is. But a lot of I'm just gonna call this practice for when I get back to Keene in actually about a month now. Yeah, less than a month, when I get back to Keene and start doing the terrestrial broadcast again, just because I have to get used to not having anyone the ability to call in just quite yet. And I want to make a comment. Well, actually, I got a lot of news to talk about. Have some, all of it has to do with Trump in one way or another. It's the most insane thing. It's like, even I've what is it? I think probably the first thing I'm going to read here is Bill Weld, right? Bill Weld, who's running against Trump as a Republican, is in the news finally. But it's that obviously so ties into Trump, and so I go on to, gosh, it must have been like 5 different news websites all across the political spectrum. Go on, and all, like, literally, even a Drudge Report, which has everything, right? It's just all Trump. But I mean, the man's totally taken over the news cycle, and I think that's the point. I mean, people are so distracted by Trump the person that, like, could you believe Trump said this, or Trump did that, or Trump spends this amount of his time golfing. That's distracting people from the real issues, like, Trump has who in his cabinet? John Bolton, Mike Pompeo, all these apocalyptic Christian Zionists, Rex Tillerson, Rick Perry, maybe not Rex Tillerson, actually, I meant Rick Perry, who, I think he's the energy secretary, who referred to Israel as America's older brother. Anyways, I'm getting beside the point. So, and the same thing with, like, this whole debt thing. I have a story here about the